This is Delhi. Please stand by for our next program. This is All India Radio. In our national program of talks tonight, we bring you a panel discussion entitled The Role of Satyagrah, Swadesi and Khadi in Gandhi's Legacy. The panelists are Ms. Sunaina Suneja, textile designer and veteran Khadi promoter, Shri A. Annamalai, Director, National Gandhi Museum and Library, Shri Suhas Borkar, media person, documentary filmmaker and activist, and Amit Arora, media personality who initiates and moderates this discussion.
Hello and welcome to the National Program of Talks. Tonight, we focus on the topic, the role of Satyagrah, Swadesi and Khadi in Gandhi's legacy. My name is Amit Arora, and joining me in the studios of All India Radio Delhi are three distinguished guests. Please welcome Sunaina Suneja. Sunaina ji, welcome.
Thank you.
We have with us Mr. A. Annamalai. A very warm welcome.
Thank you.
We also have with us Suhas Borkar. Suhas ji, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Sunaina ji, let me begin by asking you, why did Gandhi ji encourage spinning, charkha?
His first focus was on self-reliance, and he felt that it was the answer to help the poorest of the poor for their upliftment from the poverty.
And it's important for the listener to understand that charkha is spinning while karga is loom, which is weaving.
That's right. The process, spinning comes first and then weaving to make the actual cloth.
And does it tie to Swadesi concept then? Self-reliance, make in India that we talk today?
Yeah. Because for him, Swaraj is the important fundamental principle of Gandhi. So for Swaraj, Swadesi is another important concept. For Swaraj, for our own self, and Swadesi for our own nation.
Okay. So Ajji, this is very unique and interesting to India that in our freedom struggle, Khadi was a fabric that wove the nation together.
I would like to bring it to contemporary India. And I feel, and this is going to be slightly unpalatable to some, there has been over the years a pedestalization of Gandhi. He's been put on a pedestal and he's been deified. And this deification has led him to be alienated from the people. And it is put across that we cannot follow him. The main point, we're discussing Satyagrah, Swadeshi, and the legacy and Khadi. There cannot be any cherry picking with Gandhi without focusing on his ideas of social harmony. Now that's critical and the leitmotif of his whole philosophy.
So Suhasji, what are your initial thoughts on the topic today, Satyagrah, Swadesi and Khadi's relevance and the Gandhi's legacy in present times?
Yeah, as I said, that there cannot be any cherry picking. Everything has to be viewed in his entire philosophy as a holistic view. Everything gels into the other. So if you pick up Satyagrah, you pick up Swadeshi, you pick up Khadi, they're all to be integrated together. That's very critical.
Okay. So on the Satyagrah, Mr. Annamalai, Gandhiji had his first experience of Satyagrah on the South African soil. And then, of course, the 1917 very famous Champaran Satyagrah. 100 years down the line, how do we still use this tool for better of humanity?
Satyagraha is a methodology Gandhi visualized to resolve the conflict. So, conflicts are there even before and even today.
Yes.
And how we are going to resolve that conflict if we are calling ourselves civilized. So, we have to find out a civilized alternative to resolving our conflicts. And non-violent method is the very, very civilized means to resolve our conflicts.
So we know that 2nd of October, Sunaina ji, is International Day of Peace and Non-Violence. Yet if you look at the world in the 21st century, we've got many instances of warring nations. Can everyone use the principle of non-violence, Satyagraha today so that we can strengthen the bond?
I think absolutely we can. And Satyagraha, of course, we know means truth force. And to me, it also means commitment and a dedication. And I think that is what is required. And that is the concept behind Khadi also. He wanted to promote Khadi. He was promoting it in a very one-pointed manner. And that is also for discipline and commitment and dedication. So if we can put these concepts together, of course, we can strive for peace. We need to strive for peace.
So Suhasji, like you said, we have to look at Satyagraha, Swadesi, Khadi in an integrated manner, along with the other principles that Mahatma Gandhi stood for. Do you think we need to demonstrate them? Maybe a spinning workshop? How do we tell the importance of these fundamental values to today's youth?
Across the globe, they are being followed. Even the protesters in Hong Kong followed his methodology of Satyagraha. then the Green Party in Germany, the Dalai Lama in Tibet, the civil rights movement in the US led by Martin Luther King Jr., even Nelson Mandela, when he thought of reconciliation in South Africa, he was following Gandhi. There are just few instances I'm giving. There have been very active movements built on Gandhian principle.
Right. And you did share some photographs in an article. So how do we understand Satyagraha? It's like a human wall was being made so that, the message is out, what is acceptable and what is not, without any resort to violent means.
Yes, and they're all dressed in khadi. We can be sure of that. And that is the visual symbol of non-violence. And it's also a non-verbal communication. So for me, that is where the importance of khadi lies. In fact, between 1931 and 1933, the topi was banned because it was this non-verbal communication of being a part of the freedom struggle.
Right. Well, in management, we often hear about non-verbal communication and how khadi, a topi, a kurta pajama, your cloth could actually send down jitters.
Even our celebrated leader of Tamil, Mapu Sivanyanam, he used to say, when before Gandhi, people were very fearful about police. But after Gandhi and after the introduction of Khadi, the police started fearing the people who are wearing Khadi. So they have completely transferred the narratives from fearing to police to fearing to Khadi people. Therefore, Khadi is a symbol, and it's exactly the non-verbal communication, and it gives a lot of strength to the people.
Right.
The fearlessness, the message of fearlessness that came out of this Khadi.
Which I think is also related to Satyagraha, as I was saying, one-pointedness, discipline, a commitment to it.
And in terms of Swadesi, Suhasji, should we look at only from the prism of economic doctrine? That if you go Swadesi, you're helping your local economy, or there could be other aspects to it?
No, I think in today's time when we are talking of the environment, Swadeshi is very important. Gandhi based his entire outlook on decentralization. So we talk of the carbon print, So if you have Swadeshi in this true formulation, then everything is available in a small area, and therefore then you don't have to go far and get things. So the carbon print is much less. Now that's very critical when we are talking of global warming and climate change.
So that's a very important point. So it's not as if we have to say no to imports. The idea is the closer you get materials and services from your home, you're reducing the carbon footprint. That's the point. So sustainability is another feature of Khadi.
Yes, but it's very interesting also. The UN has established these sustainable development goals. And to me, they reflect Gandhian thought. And one of them, which I will cite, is responsible production, responsible consumption. Right there, it's very sustainable. It's all about sustainability.
Absolutely. And we've got 17 SDGs, which we have to fulfill as a society by 2030. Yes, Mr. Annamalai?
Yes, recently our Gandhi Museum in Madurai, they have conducted Ahimsa Sunday. It's an Ahimsa market. It is nothing but the local community organizes themselves to produce and sell to their own neighborhood. So if it is not going too far away, it should be consumed within ourselves. As Subhashji is told, the carbon print will be reduced to so much. So production for consumption. But mostly we are now producing material for marketing. Even the people who produces milk, they don't drink milk. It's so unfortunate.
So Suhasji, production for consumption. First of all, at least make sure that the family feed for itself, maybe for the neighbor as well. Is it necessary for the society to come back to this formula now?
No, I think it's not coming back, it's going forward. Because Gandhi also talked of Purna Swaraj, which is we have achieved nowhere. It's a long way off. Because that is where you will have these concentric circles developing across, and each circle will be self-contained, and there will be a internal power structure. So we now talk of Kartavya Path. That is what it was when Gandhi said, it was not Rajpath, it was Kartavya Path.
So what would be the elements of Purna Swaraj? India got political independence on 15th of August 47. Are you saying Purna Swaraj will include economic independence? What else?
It will mean power to the people, It will not be a kind of condescension, The people themselves will have, the Panchayati Raj has to come up. The entire decentralization has to come up. The villages have to develop their own structures of economic wealth, the community, everything, the entire gamut of things have to be developed from the bottom up. It has to be bottom up, not top down.
I think that's a very important point, that we have to focus more on decentralization and maybe district-led growth. And when you talk about spinning or charkha, one good aspect, so energy, was that it wasn't as if only women will do it or men will do it. It was a gender-neutral activity.
That's right. That's what Mahatma Gandhi was focused on. But in his writings, he has, in fact, focused on women and initially, and he says, I am depending on you to take this movement forward. And he also mentions students. The next generation must learn about spinning and take it forward. So his focus was really on students and women. And I personally feel this is the first time he's brought a women's activity into the foreground, which to me as a woman is very, very important.
Absolutely. Inclusivity is so essential where everyone
Absolutely.
participates. But tell us more about the footfalls that happened, say, at the National Gandhi Museum and Library in Delhi, or the other centers across India, including Madurai. Is the youngster of today coming to the museum, trying to understand Gandhi's legacy more and more and benefit in his life?
My important task is administrating the museum, but at the same time, because of my own interest on Gandhi and others, so I'm also watching the people who are coming to visit our museum. Some people are very, very serious, and they wanted to learn many things, and they wanted to interact and question many things. This type of audience is very, very limited, but they are coming, and mostly youngsters, college students. They are asking so many difficult questions, but we have to answer.
So difficult questions like?
For example, this Khadi.
Okay.
Immediately they will ask, Khadi is very costly, how can we use? And my simple answer is, yes, it is very difficult because you said Khadi is 500 rupees a shirt. If you go to other branded shirts, how much it costs? That is also they are calling cotton. The purest cotton is Khadi. And this is very, very cheap when compared to other branded shirts.
And I think it is cheaper when you factor in the sustainability part, the environmental part, the carbon footprint that Swasji mentioned.
Yes, that is true. And we get these statistics from the KVIC that the carbon footprint is really the lowest. The consumption of water in the production of Khadi is very low.
Because Swasji, our customer today is price sensitive. How do we convince them that sustainability has to be factored in?
I think, it's the practical route has to be taken. To tell you something which I've been doing now for the past 14 years, it's a program which we run in Delhi, NCR. It's called Taking Children to Gandhi.
Yes.
About 10,000 children, students from schools have gone through this program. And the kind of, the past 2 years because of COVID, we couldn't carry this forward. But we are trying to now again catch up with the students. But this has had a tremendous kind of awakening among them. And what we say is the Gandhi resides in all of you. You don't have to be looking at statue there or remember him on the 2nd of October or the 30th of January. He's there within you every day. So this is what one thing which I want to tell you about which is very critical to our country's future. That is social harmony. Now when Gandhi talked of Satyagrah, it was a conferential approach he had. There was Hinduism. He used to talk of Bhakt Prahlad. That whole story about the Hiranyakashipu putting Prahlad on the lap of Holika for Holi. I mean, the festival we celebrate. And then Holika being burnt and Prahlad surviving because of his faith. So Gandhi used to call him Satyagrahi Bhakt Prahlad, And then there was a Greek influence. He used to call Socrates, he used to call him Satyavir, soldier of truth, And then, of course, he called Christ the embodiment of sacrifice. He called Imam Hussein the embodiment of sacrifice. If we pick up all these grains, so much social harmony in this country, we must talk truth to power so that this social harmony becomes sacrosanct in this country.
Absolutely. Social harmony is very, very essential. Another interesting aspect that Mr. Annamalai, I want you to share with the listeners of All India Radio, that when we talk about Swadesi, no doubt we need the economic self-reliance for which the charkha is a symbol, but also it's important that we all are healthy. And Gandhi and health. This was also one of the theme on which you worked, as with the museum, and also there was an exhibition on it.
Yes. And during Gandhi 150, we did a wonderful exhibition on Gandhi and health in association with Indian Council for Medical Research. When they approached us for the material on Gandhi's health, they didn't know we have so much of material on Gandhi's health. Even the public opinion is about Gandhi on health is in favor of naturopathy and all these things. He is a practitioner of naturopathy. Yes, of course, he is believing on naturopathy. But at the same time, he also undergone all the Western medicines. And in 1934, he took the ECG. So when I show all the documents, records from medical reports of Gandhi from 1924 to 1948, even ICMR people were shocked. We have brought out a wonderful journal, Indian Journal of Medical Research, a special issue on Gandhi and health. And the whole story of Gandhi health was published in the journal.
Absolutely, because Suhasji, if we analyze, Gandhiji was born on 2nd of October 1869. Dandi March happened in 1930, which means he was 61 years then. And see how he mobilized everyone, how he worked himself. So he, of course, was sending out the message of good health for everyone.
The picture which comes to my mind, which Annamalaji just mentioned, is Gandhiji looking through the microscope. I mean, now that picture I have seen at in the rooms of professors at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. As I said, Gandhi is indivisible from the entire philosophy. You can't cherry pick. So Gandhi is very scientific, in his approach. That's also very important. And then there is also, when he talks of health, you have to remember the leprosy patients, how he would nurse them, I mean, there was inbuilt sacrifice. So I've seen nurses take inspiration from Gandhi's life, We have to actually look at every aspect. And the other thing, which I just want to mention, that there is this very important meeting taking place at Sabarmati Ashram. And Gandhi says, I'll have to have a break because I have to give a mud pack to my goat. The goat is sick. So, at the one hand, there is a Congress working committee meeting, but he says, no, the goat is as important as you are. And national level discussions can wait. Let me go and put the mud pack. So that, you see, there's an entire holistic view to his life.
Absolutely. There's a holistic view. And the best part that we've got photographs, which Suhasji mentioned, of Gandhiji, say, with the microscope. These are the days of technology. And would you say that charkha was also a technology of his times that he gave to empower people then?
Yes, absolutely. Although he didn't invent the charkha as we know, but he certainly reinvented it. And as I've mentioned, I think he's the one who put it in the forefront. And I hope that our young will be able to continue with this legacy, take it forward.
So when Sunena ji organizes spinning workshop, what is it that you do?
I give a little demonstration just to let people know what Khadi is all about. It's hand-spun, hand-woven. But again, like Mahatma Gandhi was confused about the loom and the charkha, as he says himself in the Hind Swaraj, people are also confused. They don't realize that the charkha is only for spinning. And then when they see the magic that comes out of the cotton fiber, when the yarn starts emerging, that is when they get convinced that there is a lot of history to the charkha, and they also learn to be proud of it.
And we now have we've got Charkha Museum in Delhi, and people should visit those as well.
Yeah. As he said, the charkha, traditional charkha is a static thing. But all the freedom fighters, they used to move here and there. And the mobility is so high. So they can't take it along with them, this stable charkha. So with Gandhi's intervention and a lot of inputs of others, they have designed a petty charkha, a portable charkha. Okay. So wherever they go, they can take it up with them. So that is the technological upgradation of charkha by Gandhi.
And would you say that Gandhiji was the most photographed person of his times?
Yes, of course. See, we have the total collection of more than 10,000 photographs. And the first video of Gandhi was available from 1913 when Kokale visited South Africa.
Okay.
So from 1912 to 1948, we have all the documentary evidence of Gandhi.
And since you're a documentary filmmaker, Suhasji, there is still scope to go back in history, read the documents, see these collections, and perhaps a filmmaker can still create some photographs, some film to present Gandhi from his perspective.
Yes, I was just mentioning this program which we have, taking children to Gandhi. Every time new students come in, because the classes keep moving and some leave school naturally.
Yes.
So we cater to the senior classes. So when we begin each program, we show them that scene of Gandhi being thrown out of the train at Pietermaritzburg station.
Yes.
Now that impacts them so much, and that is taken from Shyam Benegal's film.
Okay.
And it impacts them so much that, virtually get shaken up, and that little transformation means so much, the recall value of that incident,
Yes.
and then we show how Nelson Mandela comes to Pietermaritzburg station and rededicates the station to Gandhi's memory.
Yes.
These are historical events which are very critical to our future.
And can young filmmaker, perhaps listening to our program today, pick any of the themes and still create some magic of cinema?
Always innovation possible, and we have to now with the social media, and just a button you can go across a century back.
Yes.
And so there is a lot of innovation, and people are doing it.
Yes.
Yeah, National Gandhi Museum also working on various stories of Gandhi and producing a short 3-minute film for Instagram and other social media. We pick up one incident and we will narrate the story for the 3 minutes. That work is also going on to reach out to the youngsters.
And I was fascinated, Mr. Annamalai, when you told me that at the National Gandhi Museum and Library in Delhi, among the collections, you also have the biological teeth of Gandhiji.
Yes. Biological teeth, his own hair, and blood-stained cloth. These 3 items we have related to Gandhi. And we are also talking about the health. We also have Ecg of Gandhi. It was taken in 1934 by Sunil C. Bose. Sunil C. Bose was brother of Subhash Chandra Bose.
Okay.
And that time when he was admitted, the blood pressure was 190 by 134. So if people can go with that 190 by 134, definitely people will be admitted in the ICU. But he led the movement. He led the country. So we should not have panic about our own health. Yeah, health is there. But like Swaraj, like Swadesi, the health should also be under our own control. That is the message of Gandhi has given.
Very
to us.
profound.
Yes, you see, you were mentioning about filmmaking and taking Gandhi to specifically children and students. Some years back, we recorded 15 hours of program called the Gandhi Katha by Narayan Bhai Desai.
Okay.
Now, that has had a far-reaching influence right across the country.
Okay. And Sunenaji, over the last 3 decades, you have contributed a lot to promote Khadi. Tell us some of the themes on which your exhibitions have been crafted.
I've done a lot of exhibitions, of course, with Khadi fabric, and my aim has always been to design the garments in such a way that people, expats, for example, they could take the garments back with them, because I wanted zero waste. Even 30 years ago, I was already thinking about zero waste. It's Khadi, you cannot waste it. And I have taken it abroad as well. So again, it was always, I used to do a little study. What are the colors that people like there? What kind of styling do they prefer? So like I said, no waste. People should be able to wear it as they would the classic black skirt, for example. Keep it in their wardrobe forever. Even in my other design work, I started a concept, a little bit of Khadi in everyone's life. So I
Yes.
would add a little patch of Khadi, whether it was silk or any other cotton or wool garment.
Yes, and I can tell the listeners that Sunenaji is not just saying that everyone should have an element of Khadi. She is wearing one alongside our other distinguished guests as well. But while one talks about Satyagrah, Swadesi and Khadi as Gandhian legacy, let's also talk about Gandhi as a lawyer. Because as you mentioned about that incident of the train at St. Pietermaritzburg in South Africa, at that point, he was a successful barrister. Could some aspects of Gandhiji as a lawyer help us understand today's world better?
Yeah. See, National Gandhi Museum has all the resources regarding Gandhi. Therefore, what we are doing is we are processing all the resources according to their own interest. Delhi High Court, Bar Association, they have approached us to celebrate the Gandhi 150. So we have picked up the theme as remembering Gandhi as a lawyer, because we are looking Gandhi mostly as a freedom fighter or social reformer on this and that. But as a lawyer, we didn't know much. And even some people, they asked me, because Gandhi was not very successful lawyer, he plunged into the politics. So it is not so. He was a very, very successful lawyer, and he earned £5,000 per year.
Wow.
When he was in South Africa. Therefore, that legal brain works in our movement, in building up the Congress, in negotiating with the British government. Therefore, we have taken, as a lawyer, he acted in some way, and as an accused, because he also arrested and he put behind the bar. And as a legal brain, how it works. So we have collected all the documents and presented before the public as remembering Gandhi as a lawyer, and this exhibition is going on even now in the High Court of Madurai.
Okay. So, Asji?
Nelson Mandela used to tell us that you sent us a lawyer to South Africa, and we give back a Mahatma to you. You know.
Yes.
Now, I mean, of course, Gandhi used his training as a lawyer to negotiate. You know, and then you see his negotiation was also always in the spirit of reconciliation. He never made enemies out of his the person on the other side. You have to sense that. You know, that was a great thing he did. There were no enemies. Even when the last words he uttered, very good words, you know.
Hey Ram.
Yes. So, I mean, what I'm saying is he kind of had this aura of truth around him, you know, and that's very important in today's times.
And that is what Satyagraha is, like you said. It's all about truth.
It's all about truth, yeah.
Yeah,
But the element of one-pointedness, I feel, dedication and a commitment, which I think is it's also about character building.
Yes, yeah. As he said, there is no enemies. Somebody correspondent asked Gandhi, Jesus has given the dictum that love thy enemy.
And
Then what else you are to do? Then he replied, I have no enemies. So, for loving somebody, you have to have an enemy. But for Gandhi, there is no enemy at all. So, he loved everybody.
That's why he was the Mahatma.
Yes.
No, but that's the point which I began with.
Yes.
You know, the Mahatma is okay, but you can't raise him to that level so that he gets alienated from the common people, you know.
Right.
The common people must all, as we say in our program, there's a Gandhi in each one of you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So we have to conclude, but he was also a journalist. So he did take his message through, Young India newspapers as an editor.
Yes, yes. At one point, Gandhi was the editor of the Young India, and his son, Devdas Gandhi, was an editor of the Independent from Allahabad, and another son, Manilal Gandhi, was the editor of Indian Opinion. The whole family involved in journalism. And Devdas Gandhi afterwards, he was the editor of the Hindustan Times. When you read the Indian Opinion, the correspondence between the members of the press, Phoenix Press and Gandhi, you can find a very, very, even simplest things on press, how to print, how to choose the color, how to select the font, everything.
Yes.
And there is an advertisement in the Indian Opinion paper.
Yes.
Nothing is big and nothing is small for us.
Gandhi begins his journalism by being a correspondent for Dadabhai Naoroji and reporting from South Africa. Now, that's everything evolves with him. You know,
Yes.
He doesn't suddenly become a journalist, but it evolves, and he evolves as a great journalist.
Yes, and as life evolves in the 21st century, let's hope that the principles that Mahatma Gandhi stood for, be it Satyagrah, be it Swadesi, Khadi, and the other principles that he stood for, we will imbibe and learn lessons. The more you read about and know about and discuss about Mahatma Gandhi, the more enriched you feel in our respective lives. Thank you everyone for joining us today on All India Radio. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In our national program, you were listening to a panel discussion entitled The Role of Satyagrah, Swadeshi and Khadi in Gandhi's Legacy. The panelists were Ms. Sunena Suneja, textile designer and veteran Khadi promoter, Shri A. Annamalai, Director, National Gandhi Museum and Library, Shri Suhas Borkar, media person, documentary filmmaker and activist, and Amit Arora, media personality, who initiated and moderated the discussion. Produced and presented by Naveen K. Gupta of All India Radio, Delhi, this program came to you from the Delhi station of All India Radio.